Morning. These are your Tribune highlights for Monday, January 5th, 2026, brought to you by your Daily Bahamas headlines, especially for people on the go and those who are visually impaired. Please don't forget to like, share, and follow our Facebook, YouTube, and WhatsApp channels. Our main story this morning is a deeply troubling one. The Tribune reports that a family has found their mother dead in a ward at Princess Margaret Hospital just hours after she made a final plea to sue the hospital. According to relatives, the woman had repeatedly complained of severe pain and deteriorating health, raising concerns that her condition was not taken seriously. The family says she had expressed fears about her treatment and had even spoken of legal action shortly before her death. This case has intensified public concern about patient care, accountability, and oversight at the country's main public hospital. Relatives are now demanding a full investigation into the circumstances surrounding her death, adding to growing calls for transparency and reform within the public health system. Closely related, the Tribune also reports on relatives demanding a probe into another family member's death while at PMH, further amplifying national unease over hospital care. Families say too many questions remain unanswered, and they want independent reviews to determine whether neglect or systemic failures played a role. Another tragic story making headlines. 3 children have died in separate incidents over the weekend, prompting renewed calls for vigilance, community awareness, and stronger preventative measures. Police investigations are ongoing, and the nation continues to grapple with the emotional toll of these heartbreaking losses. On page 2, the Tribune covers a candlelight vigil honoring the life of drowned boat captain Jaden Pinder. Family, friends, and community members gathered to remember the young man, describing him as vibrant, hardworking, and full of promise. The emotional tribute reflected the widespread grief felt across the community. Regionally and internationally, the Tribune reports that the region is on edge after the United States captured Venezuela's president, Nicolas Maduro. The Bahamas has since advised against travel to Venezuela amid the unfolding situation. Several stories examine the regional fallout, including disruptions to Caribbean travel and heightened diplomatic tension. One in-depth article explains how the Monroe Doctrine factors into the U.S. arrest of Maduro, placing the event in historical and geopolitical context. In another major regional development, U.S. military operations in Venezuela have disrupted Caribbean holiday travel, with hundreds of flights canceled, affecting travelers across the region and causing uncertainty for airlines, tourism operators, and passengers. On the business front, Prime Minister Philip Davis is being pressed on Grand Bahama delays, with opposition leader Michael Pintard calling for greater transparency, particularly regarding infrastructure, healthcare, and utilities. Meanwhile, retailers are reassuring the public that the Bahamas' oil supply remains secure, despite regional uncertainty. The Tribune also reports that John Rowell has been reappointed as central bank governor, providing continuity at a time of global economic uncertainty. Additionally, Grand Bahama taxi and tour operators are seeing a modest uptick in activity following a slow start at Celebration Key. In politics, F&M Chairman Dr. Dwayne Sands is warning that recent voter registration changes could risk election confusion, stressing the importance of clarity and public education ahead of the next general election. Turning to the editorial, the Tribune's editorial board warns that without respect for international law, there is chaos. The editorial reflects on the Venezuela situation and stresses that while international crime and instability must be addressed, actions taken outside established legal frameworks risk undermining global order. The paper urges adherence to international law, diplomacy, and measured responses, cautioning that powerful nations must not set precedents that weaken the rule-based international system. In other news, the paper highlights stories ranging from Abaco and Crooked Island power outages to a Bahamian advocate being chosen for a U.S. leadership program, and features on global markets, technology, and economic trends to watch in 2026. Purchase a copy of the Tribune or visit their website to read the full and remaining stories in today's edition of the Tribune. And as we end this broadcast, remember, an informed people is the strongest foundation of any democracy. That's your Tribune highlights for today. Enjoy your day, be blessed, and be a blessing.